Okay, picking up where we left off, slide number 8. Okay, so still talking about simple division of the beat. So we could indicate your clapping as eighth notes and the chords as quarter notes, right? So with this example, here are my quarter notes, right? Let's get more volume. All right, and so on. And then here, this will be like my clapping. 2 snaps or claps for you for every 1 chord, right? Because as we see on our graphic here on slide number 8, we have 2 eighth notes for every quarter note, right? Okay, so we'll go here. I'll count the snapping here. I'll count the. So I have my 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, right? So these are like my eighth notes on the top, and then here are my chords, right? Just 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, like that. Okay, let's move on to slide number 9. So a little bit more about eighth notes here. So when a series of eighth notes is written, it is common to substitute beams, as we see on the right of the graphic here, for the flags, which we see the flags on the left side of the graphic. So, so we have eighth notes can be written with flags or beams, right? And they really mean the same thing. So with flags, with beams, same thing, okay? A little bit more about that here on the next slide, number 10. So beams connect eighth notes that are in the same beat, and so do flags, right? So if we look at the top, we have 2 graphics here, right? We have the one on the top, says clapping and chords. We have eighth notes with flags, right? Now that could have been written as the graphic on the bottom with the eighth notes as beams, right? I could play, here's the top, I have my chords, right? Here's the bottom one, same thing. Sorry. Right? Same thing, okay? So the thing is though, music for instruments generally use beams, right? Whereas music written for the voice, right, for a singer, does not. For example, if you look at page 193 in your book, and if I'll pull that up here, we'll see, here's a good example of some music that's written for voice and piano, right? So we can see that the top part, so I wrote it in red here, is written for voice, right? And we see our eighth notes have flags like this, right? Now, the piano part, there's no, well, if we have some like syncopation, sometimes we have flags, but generally we have some beams. And, it's sometimes you'll see vocal music written with beams. Sometimes you'll see instrumental music written with flags. So there's no like real rule for this. Just generally, you'll see vocal music written with flags, and you'll see instrumental music written with beams. So that's something that happens in the music world. Okay, moving on to slide number 11. Talk about rhythm patterns. So the beat, right? Remember that thing that we're clapping or snapping, or the subdivided, the division of the beats. 1, 2, right? So the beat and the divisions of the beat provide a regular framework that supports the rhythmic life of a piece of music. All right. More on this here. Let's move on to the next slide. So, rhythm patterns, or simply just rhythm, okay? So when we're talking about rhythm or rhythm patterns, we're talking about the patterns of longer and shorter durations. Okay, so thus the beat, right, the thing we were clapping and I was snapping, is generally made up of what we could say regular time units. Okay, while rhythms involve irregular units of time, with the beat as the background. So let's look at this graphic here on slide number 12. So look at the bottom of the graphic where it says beat, right? So the beat that's our quarter note beat, right? That's our one snap, right? This is our regular time units, right? It's very regular. It does, and by regular we just mean it does the same thing every time, right? Okay. Now the division is also regular. It's meaning that it's doing the same thing every time. If we divide the beat, again, that's 2 per chord, right? 1, 2, 1, 2, right? Now rhythm is different because we might have shorter or longer durations that that go with the beat, but are a little bit different. So let's look at the graphic here. Look at where it says rhythm, right? So with the beat, we have this, but at the same time we have a rhythm that goes like 2. Right? So we have like longer and then shorter. 1, 2. Okay? So if this isn't totally making sense yet, don't worry. We're gonna practice more examples, and you'll hopefully you'll get it. And if you don't, email me. I'll help you. So let's move on to the next slide, number 13. Let's talk about repeat sign. Okay, so and after this, we're going to practice some examples to make this clearer. So a repeat sign is what happens when a section of music is to be repeated. Okay, it's enclosed in repeat signs. So if we look at our graphic here on, let's see, what page is that? In the book, it's on page 24. We see, so the repeat signs are really just those 2 little dots that you see on the left side and the right side. Here, I'll pull this up here. So we've got our 2 little dots. Here's some and here's some, right? So these indicate our repeat sign. Now the 2 little dots are next to a thing called a double bar line, which we'll talk about later. But that's our repeat sign. So let's do this. Let's just practice this from here to there. We'll clap it, okay? So we'll go, this goes like this. Ready, go. 2, ba, ba, ba. Okay? So I did it once, but since there's a repeat sign, I'm supposed to do it twice, right? I'm supposed to repeat it. So I'll do it twice. Here we go. 1, repeat. Okay, now you try it. And also notice, well, okay, for this little example, it says that this equals this, right? So really, it's this 2 times in a row. Ba, 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 ba. It's the same thing. Ba, 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 ba. Okay? All right, so we use repeat signs because it's easier to, well, you can save ink, but also it's just visually, it's a little easier. It's less information to process, right? Okay, let's move on to the next slide. Okay, we're good there. So let's read some rhythm patterns. So let's establish some counting now. Let's count each quarter note in a pattern using 1, 2, 3, 4. And for eighth notes, you can count the first beat as you would a quarter note and say and for the second eighth note. Do this. Repeat after me. Echo me. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Okay, so now just clap with that same counting, right? Go 1, 2, 3, and 4. Okay? Now I noticed there's some repeat signs on this example on slide number 14. So that means we have to do the same thing twice. So I'll do it twice, then you do it twice. Ready, go. 1, 2, 3, and 4. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Great job. All right, so now let's practice some more of these. Let's read all of these rhythm patterns, all right? So I'll do all of them, and you can use this to practice with, all right? Here we go. Number 1. Ready, go. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, that was number 1. I did it twice, right? Because there's repeat signs. Number 2, here we go. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. All right, number 3, here we go. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. All right, now number 4, here we go. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. All right, number 5. Ready, go. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Number 6. Ready, go. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Good. Number 7. Ready, go. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Number 8. Here we go. Ready, go. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Number 9. Ready, go. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Number 10. Ready, go. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Okay, now let's move on to the next slide. We have 6 more. Ready for 11. Ready, go. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Number 12. Ready, go. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Number 13. Ready, go. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Number 14. Ready, go. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Number 15. Ready, go. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Last one, 16. Ready, go. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Okay? On all of those, right, what am I doing with my counting? I'm counting the division of the beat. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and, right? That's the division of the beat. I'm clapping the rhythm, right? I'm clapping, some are, the quarter notes are longer than the eighth, right? The eighth notes are shorter than the quarter notes. Those are different rhythms. All right.